Today, customers are working more best practice. They don't try to fit the system to their need and see themselves as a special company with special needs.
Hi everyone, welcome to Dynaway Dialogues. This is Jesse Zadanek, your host. I'm Business Development Manager here at Dynaway, and we're glad to have you today. Claus Nielsen is our speaker today, and we're excited to have him. Claus is a senior consultant at Dynaway. He's got over 20 years experience. I'm reading this on so I get it correct. He is certified in planning and inventory management, specialized in supply chain, production, inventory, warehouse management over his career. And now for the last 10 years, he's been specializing, of course, in asset management and enterprise asset management. Welcome, Claus.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Just, we've known each other a long time, but our audience hasn't. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you, how your career has evolved.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I've been in the game for a long time. I've been working with Dynamics F&O since it was born. And lately I've focused on asset management and I'm implementing asset management all over the world at customer sites directly and together with our partners. I've been coming from Microsoft as a program manager into this company, and basically the only product we had when I joined the company was enterprise asset management. So I, of course, started working with that, and the first customer I got was a big company in Greenland with 39 power stations, and I implemented that as the first customer I had. I've been working with asset management since I started in this company, and have a lot of experience in implementing asset management.
I'm curious, so we've probably never had this conversation. What kind of led you to jump from, DamGuard, Microsoft over to asset management and Dynaway?
Yeah, I was part of the company before it was called Microsoft. So I was working with DamGuard, the initial Danish company that developed Dynamics, and then we were acquired by Microsoft. And I'm living in the western part of Denmark, and Microsoft is in Copenhagen, so I worked there for a couple of years in the development center. But having a kid and also private time and things like that, I decided to change to a partner closer to where I live. So, yeah.
Life happens, right? And
exactly.
There are other things involved. Good.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what EAM and the whole EAM environment was like 10 years ago when you started versus today?
Yeah. There's a lot has happened. Today, customers are working more best practice. They don't try to fit the system to their need and see themselves as a special company with special needs. So they do best of breed and try to do out-of-the-box solutions. But also, it is more and more clear that customers need to document what they do, both to make sure that they maintain the equipment correctly, but also to the authorities compliant things. So that has changed a lot, and there's a more focus from customers to document that they do maintain the equipment correctly. So it's not just a matter of a tool, but also a documentation part that has become important for customers.
Yeah, you know, I haven't thought about it
yeah.
that way. I've been with Dynaway about 8 years, and now that I think about it, now that you mentioned it, you know, when I came on, there was a lot more kind of, I don't know, rogue maintenance departments that did things totally separate from the organization, maybe manually, maybe in someone's head, spreadsheets. I see less of that today. It's not totally eliminated, but I think I see less of that today than I did when I first started, because companies, you know, technology rolls on, companies get better and better, and now they're looking for kind of the next step. They have some sort of system, and now they're looking to take the next step, perhaps. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about Microsoft Asset Management, and yeah, I know you're working with that with your customer base. Since you're involved in that, can you kind of give us an example of a recent implementation or customers that you're working with? Give us an example of what's typical out there today.
Yeah, I have a lot of utility customers at the moment. So I'm working with utility customers right now that are doing waste management. And that is a big thing in a lot of countries, especially here in Europe, where focus is on the environment and try to get rid of our waste in a best possible way, you could say, and make energy out of it. So that is some of the companies that I work closely together with today, and also are involving our products together with. So yeah.
I get this question a lot, and since you're on the ground doing it, can you kind of give us your take on what's a typical implementation, how long it lasts, kind of what the customer involvement needs to be?
Yeah, asset management can be implemented, you could say, from 3 months to a year. So if we're talking about a single site, Dynamics F&O is already running, we can implement it within 3 months if the data is ready and the customer is ready to take on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But often we are involved in an ERP implementation of Dynamics 365 F&O. So, and there we are part of the standard roadmap, or the whole ERP roadmap. So we are just another module like inventory, production, etc. So there it'll take longer, but it's not necessarily requiring more time from us. It's just spread over a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What can
but
company?
you could,
Okay, go ahead.
but you can of course also, most companies we have today are large organizations where they have multiple sites. So we tend to roll out maybe one legal entity or one site at the time, and then roll them out afterwards, each legal entity, and then it of course takes longer. But the initial implementation of the first legal entity takes a little bit longer, but then it's easier to roll out the different companies because we have the foundation and all the processes correctly. So we just need to get them trained and get the data in for the additional sites. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually had a customer once, and we actually kind of shoehorned, slammed it in 1 month. I actually saw it done in 1 month, but it was your hair on fire, and you know, everybody on deck, and it was one of these things where they had a hard deadline, and they had to get off an SAP system by July 1st, and so it was everything was happening at once. But I wouldn't recommend that. I think your timeline's very, very accurate.
Yeah, I've done one in 3 weeks once in Australia, where I had to travel to Australia. That's kind of a travel from Denmark. So I decided and agreed with the customer, I'll be on site for 3 weeks, and then you can go live after those 3 weeks on a single site there. And we succeeded with that. So, but that was also an existing customer where it was just an additional sites that we brought on to it. So. but
Gotcha.
it went okay. Yeah.
Good. So give us your take on what companies can do kind of in preparation for beginning an asset management project. What makes it shorter or more efficient? How can they prepare?
Yeah, basically there are two areas I would say where companies can prepare. The first one is the data structure and the quality of the data, because it's important that the data is prepared for loading into Dynamics, and also that the structure of the data, so they know what should the functional location hierarchy look like, and what asset types do they have, and what assets, what level of details do they want to go down to on the asset level, etc. And then the quality of those data, make sure that that asset ID is unique and things like that. And so that's the first area, the master data, and getting it in a state where it's ready to import. A lot of companies come from other systems where they are older systems where the quality of the data might be a little outdated, I would say, and not always ready to just import into Dynamics. So that's the first area, I think, the data and the quality of the data.
Gotcha.
And then secondly, the second area is the business processes. They need to make sure that they have the business processes agreed upon, so they know, okay, how do we do corrective maintenance, and how do we do preventive maintenance, and what should the process be, so we can decide on the life cycle model for work orders and requests, etc. So I think that's the most important thing that they can prepare themselves on. And then, of course, it's important to have the training set up, and try to do as we prefer to do, train the trainer concept, where we train super users and the super users then train the end users, because that's a lot more efficient, and it works pretty well doing that model there.
I agree with you. I think most customers have an inkling that they have to clean their master data, that they sort of understand that concept. What I don't think a lot of customers realize is to get their business practices, processes sort of written down and agreed upon. Like intuitively, I think one person in one site thinks, yeah, we all do it the same way. We all agree upon this. But when you get them in a room and you start training them and ask them how they do things, you get
Yeah.
4 different answers. And then there's an argument or discussion. And you could do that ahead of time. You just have to think about it. So I agree with you totally.
Yeah, and also often there are different departments where in one legal entity we do this, in another legal entity we do it like that. So
Yeah.
and they haven't really agreed on a common way of doing it from a company perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. So I know that in addition to your consulting work, you also help run Dynaway Academy, and you're doing the Copenhagen Academy. Has you already done it, or it's coming up? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I have done that already. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of tell us a little bit about that. What do you think customers get out of the academy, and what's most valuable for them?
Yeah, Academy is a good way of learning the product, the asset management product, and the customers get a lot out of it, especially also the sessions where they are able to have a dialogue around the processes they have between the different companies. There they have a good dialogue and discussing, how do you solve this? We do it in this way, and we do it in that way. And so because having an asset management system is one thing, but setting it up can be done according to different industries, for example, in different ways. So when we have customers from different industries, it's always good to see how they interact with each other and try to understand, okay, why are you doing like this and having the functional location structure like this and not like we have, and discussions like that. So I think that's some of the things they get a lot out of, and of course also they would like to know the functionality all over the way, not only the things they are using or they intend to use, but the whole product, so they know it from A to Z. So I think it's a really good, and we get positive feedback from Academy. So they really enjoyed, the customers and partners. Yeah.
Is it best for like new users who've never seen EAM or asset management, or experienced users getting a refresh? What do you see?
Well, we have a mix on the academy courses of people, both end users and partners, and new employees and partners and things like that. And it's actually that mix is also contributing to the good dialogue, because the new users to asset management, they can ask the experienced users that want to know a little bit more than just what they use today. So I think it's a good mix there, and they get some feedback from each other, and think it's good to have that mix, not only people that are new to both dynamics and asset management, but also partners and customers that might have used it for a while, but not the full potential of it, perhaps. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Well, Klaus, let's shift a little bit here. I know you're working with a lot of customers currently on safe work, on safety and their safety processes. So what do you see out there with the customers that you're working with now as far as safety, and why is it critical, and what's the most common things you see today?
Well, again, like the other modules in Dynamics, I think there's the same pattern with safe work, that it becomes more important to document that you do maintenance in a safe way, and not only have it paper based, but try to have it in the system and have it recorded inside Dynamics, and can get the auditors to look at it from the system perspective, instead of just looking up in a folder and try to find the permit there. So I think customers are also switching a little bit from trying to use new maintenance strategies, try to be more predictive, and to look at the new strategies there, and the safe work is part of that, or is supporting that a little bit better. So when they do maintenance, they can do it in a safe way and try to eliminate the hazards that they get, and more and more customers are also using contractors for maintenance, for specific
Okay.
tasks at maintenance, and that requires a lot regarding the permits and logout tagout functionality also. So it becomes an increasing requirement at many customers.
Yeah. Traditionally, you've seen customers do this kind of work outside of their ERP system, correct? And now you see a trend towards it going to a single system?
Yeah, a lot of people have done it paper-based traditionally, and for the logout tagout functionality, they have, of course, a physical log, but also stamp a copy of the permit together with the log for the machine and things like that. So
Right.
it's very manually done traditionally, but they try to do it more efficiently today, and have it done electronical and support it electronically, the signatures and
Right.
managing. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you've worked in a lot of different industries with safety. Can you give us some of the differences or some of the things you've seen out there in various industries?
Yeah, of course, you can say the logout tagout functionality is pretty a pretty steady requirement, but in some areas, like in the Netherlands, they have a special way where logout and tagout is always more or less combined, whereas other industries and companies they're only using either tagout functionality or the logout functionality. So we tried to, after various versions of our SafeWork module, we tried to make it so flexible that we can support both needs and have it either supporting logout or tagout or both in combination. And I think it works pretty good now. The functionality we have, yeah.
Yeah, can you give us an example of a customer that's and kind of what they've gotten out of it, the benefit you've seen out there in the real world?
I think the benefit they get again is for example a company here in Denmark we work close with, and they have been one of the initial companies that looked at our SafeWork module. They they have an organization for the whole tagging of the equipment and being responsible for that, and they have made a system themselves for it, and now they have an integrated system and not a standalone outside system. So it's a lot easier for them, and maintaining the system and not having this own homemade solution where it's partly paper based and things like that. So they have a big advantage out of that. Yeah.
Okay. So it makes it more efficient, lowers costs. They have to spend less time developing it themselves.
Yeah, exactly. As we do with all our products, we look and at what the customer do and listen to their requirements, and then if it's they have requirements that we see that other customers have, we try to build that into the standard product. And with the SafeWork module, we have done that a lot because it's a new module. So there have been customers that have a lot of influence, and they had a good time because they got all the requests and requirements
fulfilled,
covered. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. It's an area that, even though I've worked in maintenance for a long time, I didn't realize how deep the safety requirements and details went. I thought it would be a very shallow module, but I've been involved in a couple of your implementations, and the requirements and the regulations and the just the needs of the customers are very extensive, and it's an area I severely underestimated just without knowing much about it.
Yeah, it's not just the checklist saying, okay, yes, I did this to eliminate this hazard or whatever. No, it's a big module where you do a risk assessment, and then you do your precautions. That could be a logout or tagout or a permit. So there's a few things into it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's transition to the last topic. Claus, you're a speaker at Dynaway CONNECT 2025. We're excited about that. It's coming up next spring, and tell us a little bit about maybe what you're looking forward to, what your session might be like.
Yeah, Connect. Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Last year I was actually expecting it to be a small group of people where we discussed asset management, and it was a group. I don't think it was a small group. It was a big group, and I hope to see even more this year. at the next Connect here. And the benefit of Connect is that we are focusing on one topic, and the participants are not all over the place. They are focusing on asset management. So they can all learn from each other. All sessions that we have, they're all interested in that. So they find it hard to actually decide between the sessions if there are two parallel sessions. So
Right.
it's a great event. I like it, and I love speaking about our products. And last year I spoke about, or on the last Connect I spoke about the safe work, and this year we'll also touch on that, and we'll have a dialogue also regarding safe work, because now we have more customers in that module. So we would love to get more feedback and have a dialogue about that together with all the other modules that we have there. So I'm looking forward to it, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I just got back from Community Summit North America in San Antonio, and that's a huge conference, 5,000 people or so, but they had 4 sessions the whole 4 days about asset management. And yeah, the idea behind Connect is to really focus on one topic. We only have 2 days, but we have tons of content on asset management. If that's what you're interested in, it's a wonderful conference. So looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Yeah.
All right. Claus, I want to thank you for coming on. I think that brings us to the end of our discussion today and our episode. And I want to thank everyone for joining. Please, if you can, like us on YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, and subscribe. And thanks for joining Dynaway Dialogues. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.